Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Jay and Will Show. My name is Jay.
Will, and let's get some NFL talk going.
NFL talk, yes, sir. So, as we do each and every week, we are going to have our predictions for the upcoming week. This week, obviously, is week 6, so we'll have those predictions here momentarily, but we cannot move forward and put a bow on week 5 until we discuss the previous Cowboys game, because that's far here. So week 5, the Dallas Cowboys defeated the New York Giants by a score of 44-20, which was not really that close, to be honest with you. If not for a slow start, we probably could have got a 50 burger on the boys, but our statement was made regardless. So good win for our guys. We are now 4-1. We now move on to face the New England Patriots. But before we do that, or before we get into that matchup, Will, I'll give you the floor. Overall thoughts on last week's game, to beat them down, put on the Giants.
It was a good game. Like I picked you before, when it comes to after dealing with this game, like Dak is going to be on a roll at this point because for him, it was the day before the injury happened last year against the same team against in the building. So he was just thinking about that. But once he settled down, the running game got going. It was just off and running. Because you saw, like, once he settled in, that's when he was making the plays. The throw to CD at the sideline. Like, CD just barely had to reach out. In stride, like straight in stride.
Yeah.
Then the throw to Coop that for the second touchdown right before halftime. That was a nice throw, like across
thread the needle, bro.
Yeah, they had a guy jumping up trying to defend it and everything, and he just right by him, straight into Coop, so he could fall back into the end zone. Like once that happened, I was like, "Oh, okay, we good." They got settled down. Like, yeah, we're good. We should go ahead. But yeah, it was a good one. Defense played well. The only thing, one particular thing weird about was the 88-yard drive. Shouldn't have gave that up. To a Jason Garrett-led offense. I understand, like, there's plays here and there that you can give up, but not 88 yards to Jason Garrett. Like, nah.
Yeah.
He got to do better, but I say when it came to this defense, all we wanted was the middle of the pack. Try to get some turnovers here and there. Give up the big plays, don't give up a ton of points, and we should be rolling, especially with the offense being a top 3 offense. Now the defense is playing like a more of a, I say, top 12, top 13 defense at this point. These turnovers, even teams right around 23 points a game. So it's a roller coaster. The offense puts up, what was it, like 34 a game, 35, something. Yeah, something like that. So they're like the second highest scored team, and then you have a defense that's keeping people right in the low 20s. So you've actually played some good teams in the mix too, between Tampa, Chargers, and then right there in the middle of the pack as far as good with Carolina. So they just say like we've been beating down bad teams around the country. So overall, it was a good team game. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Dak plays now that he's removed from this playing this memorable game for him.
Yep. Good game, man. Talked about the slow start before, but for me, it was one of those things where I know we talked about, or at least Dak talked about, I don't really talk about it that much. I don't really think about that much anymore. But my man's human, bro. Like, it's going to be one of those things that comes up. And like you mentioned earlier, the same week as last year, the same team as last year, the same stadium as last year. You can't help but have that in your mind. And so it's understandable to have that kind of a slow start. And to your point, now that that's happened and it's over with, he should be able to kind of put that behind him and move forward. I talked about this with you a little bit earlier. Like, one of the things that probably would have helped him is that Dalton Schultz caught the damn pass that he dropped in the end zone on the first drive of the game that led to a field goal. I think if that works and he gets that done, that fog that he was in, he claimed he was quoted as saying that he was in a mental fog, at the start of the game. That would have been cleared up if Dalton Schultz would have caught that touchdown pass. And that drive starting out for a field goal, was kind of part of the slow start. But man, obviously, the interception happened at the beginning of as the first drive developed, which is like kind of fluky. I mean, they go for it on fourth down situation. Zeke is wide open in the flat. Like, it makes sense to make that pass. It's just a hell of a play by a defender, shake his hand and move on to the next drive. So that next drive,
nothing you can do about that.
Nothing you can do about that. So that next drive, when you have the opportunity to kind of put that behind you, the pass was there. It was a great play call. Like, Dak put the ball where he needed to put it. Schultz couldn't bring it in. So, that could have been a catalyst to kind of get that thing rolling a little bit quicker. And then instead of having a field goal out of the first two possessions, you may have a touchdown. And then that 44-20 score may look worse than it actually was if they're able to get things going a little bit sooner. So, offense outside of the center position, not much to be worried about so much. And the thing about all of this is we're only going to get healthier, and at least we're going to have more depth added with Lyle eventually coming back after the bye, with potentially Michael Gallup coming back in the next few weeks as well. And by the way, shout out to Cedric Wilson, who's played really well. That pass was horrible. That pass was horrible. But outside of that, he made up for it with the touchdown pass he caught, that catch he caught on the sideline was tremendous catch. So he's been playing really well, obviously, and so they're gonna have to figure out how to put him in, when Gallup comes back, because he has earned that playing time. But offense, like I said before, not really much to talk about outside of what we've talked about off camera a lot, and that's we got to figure out the center position somehow, whether it's Connor Williams or Trey. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that position because we haven't really had that much of an issue with it now because we're blowing teams out. But when you're playing in Tampa in the playoffs or Arizona Cardinals in the playoffs, those teams that you cannot have those mistakes playing against and expect just to be able to recover because of the level of competition. It won't work out that way. So we'll cross the bridge as we get to it. I just don't know if I would be comfortable with Tyler Biadasz being our center for the rest of the year. So we will see. Can it get better? Of course, because where he is now, I mean, is not much more you can do but go up from here.
Basically.
So, we got to fix that. Defensively, Trayvon Diggs. I hate we've gone this long without mentioning his name, but he's that dude right now. And there's a lot of talk about, what's this defense going to do when he's not able to make those turnovers. And I'm just like, it doesn't matter because they're not giving him a bunch of points. We talked about this before, like even in situations where teams are having to be pass heavy to catch up in garbage time. Yes, they're giving up touchdowns in those drives that we saw against Carolina and we saw in this game as well against the Giants. But look at the score; they only gave it 20 points. Like they gave it 20 points in garbage time or with garbage time added in. So to be where they were at that point, and you can talk about it being Mike Glennon, and you can talk about all that other stuff, but it's been effective in other games where other teams have had their starters as well. So yes, they give up a lot of points. I mean, give up a lot of yards. They do that. They've done that pretty much as long as I've been in the boat. That's just what they do. But the difference in this team versus previous teams is they're also turning the ball over, giving the offense shorter fields and giving them more opportunities, more bites to the apple to put up these points. That's why you're seeing them put up 40-point games. In this game, had Dalton Schultz caught that pass, we would have been close to a 50-burger. We would have been at 48. So, it's just one of those things where you never know how things will snowball. And so it's a great game. Like I said, outside of the slow start, obviously, that we talked about with Dak kind of being in that fog and the fluke interception, they got back into the rhythm nicely. My heart skipped to be a little bit when I saw Zeke go down, but it was good to see him kind of get back up and it not be a big deal.
They sent a letter to the league about that too.
Did they?
Yeah, to look at the performance.
As they should. Yes, no one's ever got hurt before, but I don't care. It don't matter. If one person gets hurt, it's a problem. So, so to come out of that game relatively unscathed, and obviously, can't say anything about the Giants. So obviously, thoughts with them, and hope that they're able to come out of that, on the other side of things at some point. From our perspective, to come out relatively healthy was huge. And like I said before, we're only gonna get healthier from here. And we got one more game for the bye week. So to have that bye right now, when I first saw the bye, which is early, I was kind of like, dang, week 7? Like we got 17 weeks. Or 18 weeks, really, honestly. I thought it was kind of early, but where we are, it's like, okay, we kind of need it right now. To be able to come out of that bye, and you get Lyle Collins back, you get they said that Gallimore and Tank are probably still a few more weeks away outside. I said, we won't get them back right after the bye, but still, if we can get them around Kansas City week, that's good. We can kind of. I feel like we're gonna schedule. We can maintain without them for now, then, but once it picks up, force that back in, where you got your Chiefs and your Cardinals and all those teams, we got to be in full strength. So, good thing to have them out now. If we don't have them out, so they can be ready for this stretch run. Anything else you wanted to add to the game before we move on to week 6?
Just a quick shout out to Brian Clark calling out Daniel Jones for lowering his head when he was trying to score a touchdown. There should have been an offensive penalty for lowering his head, because Zeke was called for that when they first put out started doing that particular call. So they should have called it here as well, because it's all about being able to protect your players. So them not calling it is just doing a disservice to him and other players as well. So hopefully he does. I do want him to get better, but it is also his fault for that as well, with lowering his head.
For sure. And I got 2 things before we move on. One thing, Jason Garrett, man. Good stuff, man. Say what you want about him as a coach, but he had that locker room, man. And I bring that up specifically because the Cowboys have this weekly clip show that they put out about 5 minutes or so in length, called Sound from the Sideline. Basically, it's just them kind of giving a narration of the game from the Cowboys' perspective. So when the Cowboys are on the sideline, they kind of have them mic'd up or whatever. You hear coaches talking to them, you hear players talking, throughout the game and stuff like that. And the last about 30 seconds of the clip they had this week, recapping the Giants game, was after the game, Jason Garrett talking to Dak, to Zeke, and to Amari. And you could just see the reverence each of them had for him. Not so much as a coach, probably. Maybe it's a coach. I don't know. Maybe it's a coach. I don't know. Right? We obviously weren't in the locker room, but the product didn't reflect that coaching. But they still had stuff reference to him, at least as a person. You can hear Zeke saying how much he loved them, and there was still that dynamic of respect there on both ends, and that kind of made me feel good. And I will say that as a Cowboys fan, I implore the Giants to keep Jason Garrett on as your offensive coordinator. Look, guys, the week before when they played the Saints, Daniel Jones threw for 400 yards. So maybe they're trying to figure something out. Am I grasping at straws? Absolutely. You know why? Because I want them to keep him as long as possible, because guess what? They haven't beat us since he went over there, and we want to keep that ball rolling. So as far as I'm concerned, he should be the OC for life. As long as he wants to be OC for the Giants, he should be OC for the Giants. And I even go so far as to say this. The Joe Judge experiment is not working. Maybe it's time for another voice. Maybe if for some reason you decide it's time to move on from Joe Judge, Jason Garrett got head coaching experience. He's been a head coach for 10 years. Like, maybe you have it be interim. I'm just saying. And then I'm just saying, you want somebody experienced. You went the route of someone who was not experienced with Joe Judge. It didn't work. Maybe you need to flip the script and get someone that's been experienced. And he's coached that division. He's made the playoffs. I mean, come on, man. Listen, Maris, what's his name? Jim Maris, whatever their owner is.
Yeah.
Dave Gettleman, call. If you're watching, just hit us up. Listen, I'll give him a recommendation, whatever you need.
Exactly.
Listen, whatever you need from us. Come on now. I can do it. And also J1 Curse. If anybody has seen the Daniel Jones clip, once he tried to get back up after being concussed, how he was clearly off balance and clearly not straight. You can see J1 kind of making a run to him to try and kind of catch him as he almost fell over. So just giving him a shout out for understanding that it's more than a game. And everybody, I think, from a player's perspective, understands the importance of safety. And so even though it's a team, a player for another team, you don't want to see somebody, in that condition. So definitely shout out to him. And then also one last point, Logan Ryan, the cornerback for the Giants, actually was the guy who tackled Dak that led to him being injured last year. That him and Dak had a moment after the game. We can clearly see Dak thanking him for his support throughout the whole process. For those that don't know, Logan Paul, Jesus. Logan Ryan had a similar injury a few years ago where he had a leg injury that was similar to what Dak had. And when Dak had his injury, Logan sent him a bunch of books books that he read to kind of get him through that time to make sure his mental was in a good space and that he was able to stay motivated throughout that whole rehabilitation process. And so just shout out to Logan Ryan for doing that and just understanding that, hey, everybody probably wouldn't have done that, but him having that same situation happen to him, I'm sure there was a bit of sentimental there, or at least some sort of empathy from that perspective. And he reached out and did a really good job of just, maintaining that. At the end of the day, I think us fans hate the teams more than the actual players do because it's a retained thing. And with free agency and things like that, players aren't, they don't bleed the team colors as much as they used to because they're there for 1 year and they're gone the next. So it's not the same. Business. Absolutely. So I think from their perspective, they see things differently than we do. But we do want to commend that type of stuff because we don't know, that's not a common, almost not common, but when we see it, we want to at least acknowledge it and appreciate it for what it is. So shout out to Logan Ryan on that. That's the bow, folks. Got the bow on there. Good to go. Looking forward to next week. As I say, it's on to New England. So we will now go into our week 6 picks. If I'm being honest with you guys, if y'all got something to eat and settled in and got comfy in front of the couch, I'm not gonna lie to you, this one ain't gonna take very long because we have a lot of games that we are in agreement with because there seems to be a lot. This week is a lot different from last week, where there are a lot of games that we're just like, oh no, this team's definitely winning that game. So we'll go through what we have and put a bow in this bad boy. All right, so we will start off with the Thursday night game, which is one of the ones we're going to swiftly go by. Got the 4-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting 2-3 Philadelphia Eagles. I think both of us, for our sake, in terms of division, are looking forward to this game. But we both would have Tampa Bay winning this one ultimately, and it will probably be a beat down. So, on to the next one. Another one. Actually, no, it's not another one. First game in London. I'll say England. I don't know if it's in London or not. Maybe somewhere else. I don't know that lie. It's in
Hotspur Stadium.
And there you go. Which I don't know who said something about this, but I was really upset because I was like, you did not watch the game clearly. Somebody was, I can't remember who it was. I want to give them credit for being stupid. They said that because the game was not in Wembley, they had it in some rinky-dink stadium in Tottenham. I'm like, did you not see that stadium that Tottenham has built? Like, it's a brand new stadium. Exactly. And it was, I don't know if you ever saw the little thing, like the whole field is retractable. Like the soccer field, they just like, oh, we don't need this one. We'll just put this over here, and we'll bring the football. Like it's like, are you? You did not watch. You obviously did not watch the game, which I get. It was early as hell in the morning, but just don't. It's a beautiful stadium.
I don't think they know who Tottenham Hotspurs are for
they can't. They couldn't.
Stadium. Like
they couldn't have. You probably only heard of Manchester United. Yeah. You only heard of Manchester United and Chelsea, probably. That's it. But bro, let me tell you something. Tottenham, they got it together over there for sure. Beautiful stadium, man. Beautiful stadium.
You're not going to be able to keep Harry Kane and Son on a cheap ass stadium. So,
hello. Unfortunately, though, they're getting some really shitty games. Unfortunately, last week they got the Jets and the Falcons. This week they're getting the 1-5 Dolphins and the 0-5 Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm gonna kick it to you. How you got that one shaking out?
I got Miami in this one. I feel like they're better than Jacksonville. I feel like Jacksonville's still dealing with the Urban Meyer mess. And then also, I think Tua is expected to be off IR this game. So, with him getting back, I feel like they'll be able to get it done.
Let me take a step back really quick because I did not to myself on the morning. I mean, to myself.
No, we can keep it going.
No, I got to my own for a second. Because, damn it, I've got on this video for weeks upon weeks upon weeks and have had to eat humble pie because for some reason or another, Will finds a way to edge me out on predictions every week. And damn it, I'm tooting my own horn because last week, for the first time this year, I actually beat him in predictions, getting 13 right to his 10. Need those 3 to kind of bring myself back to relevancy a little bit. Now I'm only 1 pick behind Will going into week 6. So we're back to having it into anybody's game. I'm super excited about that. And to your point, Tua did return to practice today. So there's that. I'm actually going to pick the Jacksonville Jaguars to finally get it win. I don't know how necessarily. I just I don't know, bro. Because even with Tua, they weren't very good. They weren't very good with Tua. And, I think at this point, from Jacksonville's perspective, if y'all don't win this game, y'all might not win it for the rest of the season. That's completely honest with you.
Yeah, it'll get nasty after this.
Yes, this is the game.
I mean, I just thought about say, I think this is one of the games that we said that they had a chance to win 3 this year, and I think this is one of them. They won't win this one, but this is an option.
This is definitely one of them. I'm picking them. Dang it, I'm picking them. I just got something in my gut. And I'll also say last week, what I say about that Green Bay and Cincinnati game. I said, I gotta something in my gut smell upset. Something in my gut smell upset. It should have been. It should have been. I was like, watch the game like, dang, man, like, but I know we're off for week 5, but listen, those boys, they showed something in that game. Yeah, they showed something in that game. They had a rookie kicker. If he would have made one of them jumps, we would have a different discussion. And one of these picks that we're saying is definitely going to be a pick. May not be a definite pick after that, but it is this week. So yeah, definitely going. I was definitely. I am going with Jacksonville this week, so we'll see how that goes. One that is a definite is this game. The 2-3 Kansas City Chiefs visiting the 2-3 Washington football team. We both are picking the Chiefs to win that game. So we'll move on to the next game. The next game, another one. The 4-1 LA Rams visiting the 1-4 New York Giants. Rams. The next game. The 1-4 Houston Texans visiting the 1-4 Indianapolis. How do I keep trying to say Indianapolis Colts? I'm just gonna start saying the Colts every week. So this one, two teams are 1-4. I think I'll say this: that David Mills kid is playing well. Like,
Yeah.
say what you want about the Texans, and they do stink for the most part. That kid is playing, and I feel so bad for Tyrod Taylor because it's like, bro, every team you go to, something happens and you lose. Like, you lost the job to Josh Allen, you lost the job to Herbert, you might lose the job to Davis Mills. It's like, bro, if you see rookies coming, then you gotta run because them rookies come and they take your job, bro.
Let me go ahead and go somewhere else.
You signed a rookie, you driving the quarterback? Oh yeah, no, get me out of here. I'm demanding the trade. But how you got that one shaking out, bro? 1-4 teams, Colts versus Texans.
I got Colts, especially after that game, the heartbreaker against Baltimore. They had the double-digit lead. They should have won that game the way that they played, but Lamar being Lamar, Jesus. Yeah, I got the Colts in that one.
Okay. I have the Colts in that one as well. But I think this one is a toss-up. If Houston won this game, I would not be surprised because Houston is losing games. But the only game that they got their doors blown off was against Buffalo. Every other team, every other game round, they've been competitive in each of their games. And so it wouldn't be surprising to me if they won this game. But I think Indianapolis being at home, division game, they got to have, if they want to have a chance to stay in the chase for that division. The Titans are just 3-2, so it's not like they're running away with the division. So I think if you can get this win, it kind of helps you make up some ground there. And so, yeah, I agree with you. I think I'm going to go with the Colts to win that one as well. Next game, 3-2, Cincinnati Bengals visiting the 0-5 Detroit Lions. I think we both have the Lions falling to 0-6 in this one. We are both picking the Bengals, so we'll move on to the next game. Next game, 4-1, Green Bay Packers visiting the 3-2 Chicago Bears. Justin Fields, 1-0 as a starter, but he might be 1-1 because I believe we both are picking Green Bay to win this game. Yes?
And, to be honest, I was contemplating hard about going with Chicago in this one. The way that I was thinking was that last week Green Bay would end up dealing with Cincinnati, but then get caught up with Chicago because you go from the Burrow to now a quarterback that can throw and run. Like if you actually follow the right plays, because to me, Fields is get him in a good situation. Like he'll be able to do some stuff in Chicago. That's what's getting talent around him. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Green Bay in this one as well. But Justin ain't gonna make it easy for him. I can tell you that much.
I can see that, and I'll say this: like, the Bears won last week, but they played the Raiders, who probably weren't even. I mean, for obvious reasons, they probably weren't in that game all the way. And so I think there's some elements of that could maybe. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Bears did a good job of taking advantage of that, but I don't think that the Raiders were the Raiders, if you know what I mean. So I think having that opportunity and then building on that and winning the game 20-9 is a good thing, and it is something that could certainly help get Justin Fields' momentum going. He was not that great in that game, but they won. And there's obviously, you want to be able to still build while winning, because you're going to build regardless of whether you win or lose. If you can build while you're winning, obviously that's a plus. I say that to say they only beat the Raiders by 11, and the Raiders stunk in that game. So I just feel like Aaron Rodgers locked in, man. I'm not saying they get the doors blown off, but I can't see them winning that game. But if their defense can kind of rise to the occasion like they did last week, who knows? Everybody knows how Derek Carr was leading the league in passing yards. He was a beast. They didn't even score a touchdown. So, if that team, if the Bears defense can make it interesting, who knows how it goes. But got great band.
Not this week. Not this week.
Not this week. This might be the game week right here, boys. I ain't gonna lie to you. 4-1 LA Chargers visiting the 4-1 Baltimore Ravens. We kind of left them for dead at the beginning of the year, but boy, those kids are balling in Baltimore right now. How you feel about that game, bro?
So is it too early to flex the game?
It is, but it should be.
Let this one get flexed to Sunday night, and let that Sunday night trash be a noon game.
I'll be honest with you. They could have flexed. They could flex us out of that. I would be fine with us getting out 325.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I agree, but that Seattle game is gonna be uglier.
Yeah, it's a middle. I'm gonna watch
but this is a tough one. Baltimore too. I'm gonna go Chargers. Because one thing that I noticed with sports is after a crazy win like that, the following week, you typically lay.
Fall back to earth.
I think that's what's going to end up happening with Baltimore after that emotional win. They're going to end up losing. The Chargers' offense is rolling through it. It is. They put up 47 points against the Cleveland defense, which is actually pretty good.
Yes.
So it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a close one, but it's going to be a good one now.
I'm probably not picking the Chargers to lose a game the rest of the year, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know why you would. Like, bro, they went for it on 4th and 2 on their own 27-yard line.
Yeah.
On their own. That's mad. You do that in mad. You don't do that in real life. So the fact that he has that much confidence in that team, and the 4th and 2 play was a pass play, by the way. So he trusts Herbert more than he trusts Eckler to get those 2 yards when they're in the shadow of their own end zone because you're on a 27-yard line of your that's if they don't get that, he's getting killed in the press conference. But they did, so he gets praised in the press conference. But yeah, look, I just can't. I don't think I can pick against them the rest of the year. Like they're just that good right now, and there's only been one team in the league that's been able to stop them so far. I don't know if you know that.
And held them under 20.
I mean, there's a one in that 4-1, and that one belongs to the star. I'm just saying. So yes, I'm going to pick the Chargers in this one as well. I do think this will be the game of the week, and it's exciting because we'll get to see like Lamar showed everybody on Monday night. You keep calling me running back if you want to, or running quarterback if you want to. I'm going to throw 450 yards on y'all, and now tell me I'm just a running quarterback. So props to him. He played his behind off in that game against the Colts. And so I'm hoping that, he'll be able to replicate that. But to your point, usually in those type of games, we have an emotional win. The next kind of, starts off a little slow at least. And one thing you cannot do against this team is start off slow. You cannot start off slow against the Chargers. So I'm going to go with the Chargers, but I'm going to keep heaving flowers towards Baltimore because, like I said before, we buried them at the beginning of the year. So to see them be where they are right now, just kudos to those guys. But you're going to be 4-2 after Sunday. Next game, the 2-3 Minnesota Vikings visiting the 3-2 Carolina Panthers. I'm picking Minnesota in this game.
Yeah.
I think that the Panthers it's not time to press the panic button, but we might be getting there. We might be getting close to that. To start 3-0 and to potentially be 3-3, that's I'm just saying. We saw how they looked last week, which
that's terrible.
We all had one job, bro. Just beat the Eagles and be like, come on, man. Like, but yeah, if you can't beat the Eagles, I know the Vikings have a 2-3 record, but they're better than their record. They're better than their record. So I got Minnesota. Sounds like you have them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Minnesota in this one, and good luck, Matt Rule. Next game, another potential game of the week. The 5-0 Arizona Cardinals visiting the 3-2 Cleveland Browns. Again, the Browns are 3-2, but their record does not indicate how good they are because if you look at the losses they had, they lost to the Chiefs and they lost to the Chargers. I mean, those are two contenders. So, and they hung around in both of those games. They could have won both of those games. They've been in all 5 of their games. So, Arizona, obviously, the class of the NFC so far, 5-0. How you have that one shaking out? With them going
Cleveland winning this one. I feel like that after the amount of points that they gave up to the Chargers, that they're going to look to stifle Arizona. No more undefeated after this week.
So they going down, huh?
Yeah, man.
So this one was hard because I looked at the game against the Cardinals game against the Rams kind of similarly to how you're looking at this game, where like, all right, you about to face a defense that's going to be able to figure out, maybe not to stop you, but to at least, contain you enough to where the offense on my team has enough ability to either catch or to be in the game or to beat you. And the Rams defense could not do that. And I'm looking at what the Chargers just did to the Browns defense, and I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know. I think this is obviously a huge test for them defensively. Before that game, the Browns had one of the better defenses in the league, so there's no reason to feel like they can't do that again. But there's only one Kyler Murray, bro. The way he plays. Obviously, you can compare, between maybe Kyler and Lamar, but just because of their versatility. But man, that dude Kyler is special, bro, and Lamar is too. And there's no reason to compare. There's no reason to compare the two or put them at odds. Anyway, you can both say that both. You can say they're both great and move on with the rest of your day. But I think that the way that Kyler is so elusive in the backfield, and that's the biggest difference is that, I think I think that Lamar is more, hey, I can get out of this and I can run and take off and get 40 yards. Whereas Kyler's like, I could do that, but I really want to get the ball to my weapons. And so I like that. But at the end of the day, you got Clowney on one side, and then you got Garrett on the other side. So between those two, and they have a great up front, as far as their tackles up front as well. It'll be interesting to see how they're able to move the pocket if they are, and if because Garrett really wasn't able to get to Herbert last week, and I think the fact that they were able to protect him was more than Cleveland was banking on, and so them not being able to get that pass rush could be the difference in the game. So I think that's where the game is won, right? If we have those guys able to get to Kyler, which is easier said than done, obviously, then I think they do have that chance. But I just, I'm looking at Matthew Stafford, who is, for all intents and purposes, a statue, not really have a lot of time with the way Arizona was pressing. I think if you look at Baker's not a statue, but if you put pressure on him, he makes mistakes. And so if Arizona can make him get off his spot, I think they have the advantage there. So I think there's two really good defenses there. And I'm leaning towards Arizona only because I feel like their defense has a better chance of forcing Baker to make mistakes than the Cleveland defense has of forcing Kyler to make mistakes. But again, I think, between this game and the other game we just called or just predicted, those two games are probably the two games of the week. I'm going with Arizona in this one with not very much confidence, but I think it's going to be a fun game either way. If Cleveland wins this game now, they're right back up there in the conversation to me because you got Arizona has knocked off contenders. Like they're not just playing, Houston or whatever else. They're playing contenders. So to have this team beat that team when nobody else has been able to so far, we'll say a lot about what Cleveland can do. But yeah, that should be a fun game for sure. That game is on at.
It's at 3:00.
Oh, that's okay. All right, so we're not gonna have that.
Wait, we might. Our game is on CBS.
I know, but they're Fox ain't gonna show no game on. I don't in our area. I don't think Fox is going to show a game to go up against the CBS.
Yeah.
Oh man! So does that mean red zone? I don't know. I can't do red zone in the Cowboys game. I don't know. I want to see that game. All right. Next game. 3-2. What's that open? 3-2 Las Vegas Raiders visiting and 3-2 Denver Broncos. This is the game that I had a hard time deciding, so I'm going to let you go first, and then hopefully by the time you're done, I'll have my pick.
I think Denver wins this one. Vegas just lost their coach, so they still trying to figure stuff out. I mean, I think it's going to be close in part. They're still trying to figure stuff out, but they are going to have a ton of emotion. So this is going to be a type of game that they're going to try to use to unite them as a team. So that's why I think it's going to be a close one. But I think Denver will have enough defense to be able to stifle Vegas to get a win.
So Denver to me smells like Carolina.
Yeah.
Right? Where they start off 3-0 and then it looks like they have the potential to go to 3-3. Tay did not look good last week. Tay Two Gloves did not look good last week. I guess I'm gonna go with Denver only because they're at home, but that's the only reason I'm picking them. Because I feel like, to your point, there's gonna be an energy amongst the Raiders that they're gonna want to go out and say, "Hey, we don't need him to win games. We can go out here and do it. We don't need that guy to be our figurehead for us to go out there and win." And so I think that motivation will certainly be there. But then if they get off to a slow start, does that fall flat and they're able to recover off of that? But to your point, Denver's defense is fantastic as well. It's just a matter of where their offense can do enough and to win. But yeah, I'm going with Denver only because they're at home. This game is at the Death Star. I'll probably go with the Raiders, but on the road, that elevation, I'm going to go with the Broncos too. The real America's game of the week, at least by the way it's scheduled, is the Dallas Cowboys at 4-1 game against the 2-3 New England Patriots. Boo, Patriots! Obviously, we're both picking the Cowboys to win this game. Instead of asking who you got, I'll just ask, what do you think we need to do to be able to come out of New England with a win? Because last time we went to New England, Dak did not play well, but it was a bad weather game. It was raining that game, and they were still in the game. Yeah. They had that bogus call. That call was a bogus call though. Like it was not. He did not pump fake the ball. Like what he did was normal. They just I think Belichick had gotten to the ref's ear about, hey, he moves the ball before he snaps it, and that call cost us the game. But what do you think are the keys for us to be able to do? What do you think needs to be done? And do you think there is any potential challenge that maybe makes this game closer than it should be?
I mean, just having a coach like Belichick will always give his team a chance. But I think that what Dallas would just have to do is just run it down their throat. Like, don't even give it just run it down their throat, because I feel like they're going to try to stack the box a little bit more in this one, because a lot of teams don't do that against Dallas. They've been doing the cover two, and Peyton's whole thing is, hey, they go cover two, then you just run it straight down there. So I feel like Belichick will actually be the one to try to change it up, knowing that the run game is what's allowing us to either eat up the field or eat up teams and put it on Dak, because the one game that we did lose was when Dak balled out in the Tampa game. So I think that's where the challenge will be, just to see what Bill ends up going with it. But yeah, I think that's what for Dallas will have to do, is just run it down their throat, just to show like, yo, we're serious. We got things to do. So, and Belichick will be Let us stack the box. Let's see. Let's see if let us stack the box and take away a tight end. Let us see what these wide receivers can do. So it's going to be interesting.
All right, y'all. Let's come on. Give him a walk. I don't know who y'all got playing corner, but
Yeah, exactly.
there was a stat on Twitter. I think I shared it with you guys. I'm not sure. I can't remember. I've slipped since then. But it was basically saying that New England leads the league in single high coverage, meaning they only have one safety up top, meaning it's either cover 3 or it could be man, but they're, like you said, low in the box with extra safety. So if that's the case, they lead the league in that formation. That means they're going to crowd the box more likely than not. And so based off of that, we talked about it before, you just mentioned it, this defense or this offense being multiple and being able to say, okay, you want to take this away from me? Cool, I'll kill you with this. And if they made those adjustments, then we say, okay, cool, we'll go back to running the ball like we want.
Yeah.
So, it's really up to you. How do you want to lose?
Yeah, exactly.
So to have them be that multiple and to be, it's one thing to be multiple and that you're like, hey, I can throw the ball really well. I can run the ball too, but probably not as effective. Like usually, even if you're multiple, one aspect of the game is not as good as the other. It's very rare that you have the ability to be multiple and both forms of offense, whether it's through the air or on the ground, are equally top in the league. So when you have a top 3 passing offense in the league, a top 3 rushing offense in the league, that does not happen very often. It's usually maybe a great offense that's like a great running game in the middle of pack passing or great passing, middle of pack running. So to have 2 premier sides of the football makes it difficult for teams to be able to decide how they're going to make things difficult. And so I think they're in a sweet spot right now with Kellen, where the play calling is going well enough for them to figure it out. And they're making adjustments during the game, which we had not seen.
Those halftime adjustments. That's why the third quarter we end up blowing teams out because of that. So those adjustments are something serious.
I think the last time we had that consistently, I did not have any facial hair. So to see that happening now is a great thing, and it gives me confidence to feel like they're going to figure out how to be competitive in every game.
Yeah.
Obviously, turnovers are a different thing. If they have issues with keeping the ball and, having turnovers, that's different. But if they can play relatively clean ball, I don't see anybody being able to compete the way that they're able to compete. So obviously picking the Cowboys in this one, I think the biggest thing, like you said, is just making sure that Dak has the kind of game that Dak can have. But also, I think the one thing that I like their approach against Tampa, and it made sense.
Yeah.
But I think them not getting anybody going on the running, I know it was almost. I'm not going to try to run. Is what they said. We're not even going to try to run.
Well, you didn't have Zach.
Yeah, so, that's true. That's true.
You remember you had Biotish at center and no Zach next to him. So.
Fair enough. So I won't even finish that point. Thank you for pointing that out because I didn't forget about that. That's dang, bro. We ain't had our starting offensive line at all this year.
For the past 2 years.
Boy, look at here. Anyway, we still have more stuff to do. Next game, snooze. Sunday night game. The 2-3 Seattle Seahawks visiting the 2-3 Pittsburgh Steelers. This is another game that I cannot figure out who to pick because for some reason I feel like they're going to both lose this game somehow. Because neither one of them are really that good, especially with the Seahawks not having Russell Wilson there for the first time in his career as a Seattle Seahawk. He will not be playing. So they'll have Geno Smith, who half the audience didn't even know was still in the league. Starting for them against Baylor Roethlisberger, who had a decent game last week. If we're going to kill him, we'll give him this 5 and he does well. But they're still 2-3. And I can't make head or tails out of this game, to be honest with you, Will. So I'm gonna let you give your prediction on that one.
First thing first, I want to apologize to our Seattle fans out there who's watching this. It's my fault that Russ went down. He's been healthy every year up until this year because I drafted him in my fantasy league, and it tends to happen to each of my quarterbacks. So I apologize for that. But as far as picking this particular game, I have Pittsburgh winning. I think that they're because their defense is the best unit on this in this game. Like Seattle doesn't have much of a
Yeah.
defense. They have as their quarterback, and Big Ben sucks. So Pittsburgh defense is the best unit out there, and they'll end up winning it.
You know what? You talked me into it. They may be the only the defense may be the only people to score points in this game.
Yeah,
Defensive kickers. They might be defensive kickers. That's it.
Yeah.
You might see no offensive touchdown in this game.
Because remember, the defenses somehow were able to beat Buffalo in week 1. I'm still trying to figure that shit out.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Everybody is. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm going with Pittsburgh in this one as well. Monday Night Football, another meh game. The 4-1 Buffalo Bills visiting the 3-2 Tennessee Titans. I think we both have Buffalo winning that one. Yep. That one might get ugly pretty quickly. But good news for the Colts fans. If the Titans go 3-3 and you go 2-4, guess what? One game out of the division lead. Yep. You about to say something?
There might be only one game for the rest of the year that Buffalo might lose, and that's against Tampa. I don't see them losing another game this year.
You don't think Belichick can scheme up a loss? Twice. No? Okay.
Yeah. I think it's because of the quarterback play. The quarterback, I don't think, will make enough plays against that defense. They have a legit front four. Like, they don't even have to blitz anybody to get to the quarterback. Like, that's for you to be able to do that is legit. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's a rarity. Like, you might have 2 teams, 3, maybe 3 in this league that's able to do that. So them being, because that's what they did with Mahomes. Just sent 4 and dropped 7 back, and you see what happened with that. So I think, I don't see them losing. Maybe just in one game against Tampa, and other than that, I think they'll be number 1. It'll be between them and the Chargers for number 1 in the conference.
Yes. Yeah. Saints. Chiefs might be done. They might be good. In terms of just what they are normally, where they are.
Yeah, as far as they're not.
Yeah. Those are our picks, guys. I'm going to throw it all at you, Will, and Aurel. I apologize because I'm pretty sure you were excited about having a short video. This will probably still be short, but I wanted to ask you a couple of questions really quickly. Well, same question, but just with different people. So, Jeff Kavanaugh, shout out Jeff Kavanaugh, brought up something that I thought was very interesting. I wanted to get your opinion on it because I'm not sure if you heard it. But he was talking about when certain players come back from injury, do they deserve to get their job back based on the performance of the folks that have played in their stead while they've been out? Yeah. So I have 3 names I want to give you that are currently playing and who they're potentially usurping. And I want you to tell me whether you think they should stay starter because they play well enough, or if when this person gets healthy, they deserve to have their position back. So I'll start with the obvious one. I'm going to say Terrence Steele. When Lyle Collins comes back off suspension, has he earned the right to get his spot back and start right tackle?
Yeah, primarily because you do still have to send that extra help for Steele. With Lyle, you don't have to. So I think that will make the offense even more dynamic, not having to or anything to that nature.
I agree. Next one, Osa Odigizua, who has been starting at 3 technique, who is currently replacing Neville Gallimore, who is injured. Now, Gallimore is probably going to be out for another month, so this won't be an issue now. But when he does come back, we've seen how Odigizua has played so far. He's been jumping off the screen. Does Gallimore deserve his job back, or has Osa won that job to you?
Osa has won that one. He's been between the pressures. I'm not sure if you heard it, but he's like number 3 for interior pass rush, behind the 2 players.
Yes.
Can you guess the 2? So you know one for sure.
There's probably a guy that's in the Los Angeles area that I think plays for the Rams. And there's probably another guy that's on the opposite end of the nation playing in Florida. Because it should be Vita
They're
Vea,
close.
it's not?
They're close. They're close to each other.
Really?
They're states, one state away. This one traveled west, Texas.
Stumped.
JJ Watt. JJ Watt is second.
Really?
Aaron Donald, of course, is first, and then
I would
Watt.
have definitely said to be the Vea for sure. I would bet money.
Yeah, I get it. That's why I pulled it back. I was like, well, I know one for sure you'll end up getting.
Shout out to JJ. Yeah. All right. Well, okay.
Yeah, he's number 2. Yeah, they call me on first too. 3? And then also, he's tied at 3. So he stays there. And it would be nice because I think with Neville getting back, it'll help the rotation that much more.
Absolutely. And like you say, it's a rotation, so it's not like it's not like if you don't start, you're not going to play. Exactly. Like they're going to rotate guys in and out. So it's really just just by name, like, hey, I start first. That's really it. So yeah, but I do agree. Like Osa's earned the right, and Neville's only Neville didn't play bad last year, but I do think what we've seen in Osa in 5 games is better than what we saw in Neville last year. And not to say Neville was bad, but he wasn't doing this.
Nah.
And so if you see this guy who's still a young player, already doing this, it's only you can only imagine what else is gonna happen. And you look back now at the potential of that draft class.
Exactly.
Good. All right, last one for me. J-Ron Curse, who has currently been substituting for Donovan Wilson, who's been out with an injury at safety. That's been kind of by commission a little bit, where you've seen J-Ron move around, I think, a lot more than what we saw in Donovan Wilson. But Donovan Wilson's healthy. He's fresh off the IR. He's ready to go. If it's up to Will to start the lineup, to put the lineups in, am I leaving J-Ron Curse in the lineup, or am I bringing back a healthy Wilson to gain his position back?
So I will be making it a little funky. I'm actually I'm having Donovan Wilson to basically play linebacker. I'm taking different coverage. So you have someone that can cover, you have someone that can tackle, between cover, tackle, can play the run decent. Because now with him playing linebacker, he can actually, it gives you more flexibility of Micah, either hands in the ground or just drop back in linebacker as well. I want both of them on the field.
So I'll follow up with this question. What I've seen him J-Ron be more effective is in the role you just described, where he's more downhill, like those. He's making those tackle for losses on running backs because he's hitting those holes quickly. You see him doing a lot of that. So I would almost reverse them. I'm good because of what he's done.
Yeah, I want both of them. Like I said, I want both of them on the field at the same time. So I think that's just so much talent between the two of them. Paris is able to cover a lot better than a lot of people expected. So I'm good with flipping them, putting Donovan back at safety, bringing Curse back close down, basically playing linebacker. Because that also I think that will also protect Leighton. He wouldn't have to play so much, so it's less chance for injury. So he's still, that's like he was out there hitting and making good plays on Sunday. So I think you'll be able to extend that out with him playing less by having the Curse or Donovan Wilson happen with the linebacker position. Because then you'll have if you have one of them playing linebacker, like you didn't really lose a linebacker when it comes
Right.
to Dylan Cleveland. Like you still have the same number. So I think, and,
And
and plus I think it will make it harder for teams to know what's happening. If you have this guy in for coverage and then this guy in for running, well, this is what okay. So we're going to switch it up and whenever they're on the field, we're gonna do what their weakness. But you have both of them on there. You can do some work with it. You can do some work with it. So that's
yeah,
what I want to see.
and one last thing about last week, Jabril Cox didn't have that many plays.
Yeah.
So they found a way to still distribute Jalen snaps amongst the folks that were already playing. Now Keanu Neal came back, which he hasn't been back, and I think that's kind of probably why they thought they were able to go ahead and get rid of Jalen because they had Keanu Neal coming off the COVID list. Yeah. But even with the team currently constructed and losing Jalen, Jabril, who we thought, all right, Jabril might get some snaps. He only got like 4 snaps on the defensive end. So there's still that element of it too, where there's just this depth. And now, like kind of what you're talking about, when you get Donovan Wilson back, there's just more depth to add to that backfield or the secondary that we thought we came in like, oh, we're screwed at secondary. I mean, it's safety position. I don't know what we're gonna do. We got these 2 Band-Aids that they got. Malik Hooker who just came off the Achilles injury, and this DeMonte KZ. Like they just brought a bunch of dudes in, and they're all playing well. And it's just like Coach has them. Sorry, Ro. Coach has them like playing well enough to where they're comfortable in not. Hey, you're not playing starter snaps, so just kind of able to maximize them being in there for only maybe 20 snaps a game or, 18 or whatever, as opposed to depending on them to play 60 snaps. Mike is playing 60 snaps, but I think Kavanaugh said Jalen Curse played every snap last week. So it's like that he can't. Donovan, I love you, Donovan. I think Donovan's good. I'm great, but good. Yeah. So he'll fit in, but I think it's important, like we talked about with the D-line. The safeties may be a rotation thing too, where it's like, you start, but the snaps are still split. Yeah, absolutely, especially this year of all years. It's perfect.
We need it.
All right, bro. I'm sorry, bro. This is it. That's it. We're looking forward to to week 6. Guys, thank you guys for watching so much. We appreciate it. As always, like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, all those YouTube sayings that go together. We appreciate you guys. As always, yes, appreciate it. And for signing off, I am Jay.
I'm Will. Hey, also let us know if you want us to do any live streams as well.
Yes.
For doing Cowboy talk. Let us know.
We're gonna do it. It's just a matter of what we're gonna do. If we're gonna do reaction, we're gonna do picks. We'll figure out that. So guys, hit us up, man. At @GlowSun_production on Instagram. Obviously here, GlowSun Sports. Hit us up, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys as always, and we are